So I'm Chloe. I'm studying the HND Radio course,
Cool.
obviously.
Love it.
Done last year as well. So this is my second year, and obviously
Fab.
we're here to talk to you because you're doing so well and inspire people to do the course.
Inspire everybody to take up radio, of course. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Good stuff. So congratulations on your recent role as the
Thank you.
BBC
Thank you very
Radio
much.
1 early breakfast presenter.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Very weird to hear that, I'll be honest. That's mad, but yeah, it's very cool.
Can you tell us a little of how it came about?
Yeah, so basically I've worked with Radio One before in the past. It was in 2019 in December. It's when they first did their like Christmas presenters takeover thing that they do every Christmas time. So I applied for that. I got in to do 3 shows over the Christmas period on Boxing Day, 27th, 28th. And then after that, I've just kept in contact with Alid quite a bit as he's gone up in the company. And then it just came about that May, they were needing someone to cover the early breakfast shows. I was available at that time. It just came about that that had happened. So yeah, it was basically just one phone call. It was like, "Are you free in May?" And I went, "Yeah, I've got nothing to do, so I'll happily do it." So yeah, that's very simply how it came about.
It's even that's literally like incredible to hear that that's even happened.
I know it's weird. It's so weird.
So, what were your first impressions of working at Radio 1?
It's very, first impressions very daunting, obviously, because you're like, that's the first time I've ever spoken to like the entire UK. There's one. So it's weird. I'm normally just talking to Scottish people. I know how to talk to them. I don't know how to talk to people from Wales or England. No way. So like that aspect of it's very scary. But because obviously you're working with such like a bigger organization that has so many people working with you, you're never on your own. You never are dealing with something by yourself, which for a lot of places you are. So that is one of the things I like most is that I always have a producer who's helping me, who's talking me through why are we doing this? Why is this good? Um, which just makes everything so much easier for me because I'm not having to think of everything and make sure I'm right every time. I have someone else to bounce off of. So in a way, there's a lot more technical aspects about it, but in a lot of ways, in form of like the content production, I have a lot of help, which is really great.
Yeah, like even I have like a show on City Radio the now,
Good.
and having to do like be the producer of your own show, be the presenter of your own show,
Yeah.
do the tech ops to your own show.
Uh
It's a
huh.
lot. It's a lot
It
going
is.
on. But
It's
I'm like,
so much to deal with.
one day I won't have to do all that. It will just
Yeah,
be one,
exactly.
hopefully.
You put the positive mental attitude into it that someday someone else will make this for me and I don't have to do anything. It's not going to be me saying my own name and ident. Someone will say it for me instead.
Don't even get me started on idents. They make me want to cry. That's like the bane of my life, making
Oh,
sweepers and
tell you.
idents. I
Oh
don't.
my goodness. So many times I sat in those little booths just saying my own name. Memories I have.
So speaking of that, taking it
Mhm.
back to your studies at Glasgow City College, do you want to tell me a little bit about your college experience, like doing the radio course and
Yeah, of
City
course.
Radio?
Yeah, so I did the 2 years as well. I did HNC, HND, of course. And I mean, it was just some of the most fun, stupid stuff I've ever made. Like I feel like every time I was at City Glasgow College, someone like some speaker would come in and they'd do the thing of like, this is the only time you get to do what you want. And I was always like, shut up, what are you talking about? But I do look back on it and go, I could just do anything and no one's really going to be upset with me. I could do absolutely anything. So I do always think of the shows we did on City Radio. Like, do I did a request show, and we would have to like go down into like the area where like the lifts are. I just stand there and ask people what song they wanted me to play. Everyone hated me for doing that, but I do that every single like Wednesday, just forever. And I always think about that. Just learning everything about radio because that's helped me as well. I've not only done presenting, I've like worked in writing ads for radio as well. So learning that as well helped me get to that job as well. I blagged my way into that. I was like, oh yeah, I've done so many at college. Like I've learned so many aspects of radio through the course that it has helped me get to many different aspects of radio in the industry. But the main memories I have are just having an idea like in the morning and then at lunchtime doing it on my show and it turning out to be probably terrible. But I did it anyway because I was like, I can do that because I have the freedom.
Yeah, what you were saying about the like trying to talk to people at the lifts, I feel like when we have to do vox pops, you actually
Yeah.
feel like the worst person in the world
Oh,
going up to
it's
people
awful.
and interrupting you. And I feel like they just sense that I'm a radio student and they're like
Yeah.
scrambling away from me. They don't want to be anywhere near us. We're like walking about like, can I ask you a wee question and record it? They're like pretending that their headphones are turned up and they can't hear me.
Oh,
I'm like, okay.
I had to do that so much. I hated every single second of that. But in the end, made a cracking documentary from it, though, didn't I? So in the
Yeah.
end, it made something good. But yeah, like always remember just standing about needing people to help me and no one wanting to help me, but I was like, I have to do it. It's part of my course. I have to do this. And I will say over time that did make me like more confident with stuff. Like I was like, well, I just have to talk to people, and I can now do that, because of doing that in college.
You were just speaking about a documentary. Is there one thing that you
Mm.
made when you were studying radio that you still like think is like the one of your favorite things you've ever made?
I made two main documentaries. One was in the HNC course. I did one about how I don't like football. I wanted to find out why people like football. And I basically just like followed my pals around to the football, which was great fun. That was easy. Like that was so simple. The second one I did was about drag in Glasgow. And I remember like vividly, like I still to this day have so many drag queens that I'm friends with on Facebook just because I was like messaging all of them to do interviews. And I would just be in like so many clubs, just like recording anything for it. And it turned out pretty well. Like I had Lawrence Cheney on it, like before the big fame. So I have that in my CV. I talked to Lawrence Cheney before they were a drag race winner. So I'll take that.
You know what? One of my friends made their documentary on drag and the HNC as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think theirs kind of turned out to be more of a drag king show than a drag queen show.
Love it.
But I mean,
Nice.
that might be your fault. They might all be thinking, we already done that. We're not
Absolutely.
doing another one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've planted my flag on that one.
So if you were to go back and speak to
Mhm.
your HND self, what piece of advice would you give them?
Jesus. Not to focus too much purely on like my main goal. Be open to other opportunities because just saying you want to do the breakfast show, that's fine. But there's not many. Like there's not many, and a lot of them have really good people on there. So you have to be okay to do the shows that you don't want to do, but make sure that every opportunity you take is going to make you happy in the end. Don't take something just because it's there. Because if you're on radio and you're there every day and you're just doing like saying stuff that you don't really care about, that's not good for you. Make sure you are taking the opportunities that you can get, but make sure the opportunities you take work for you because that's what will make it more beneficial for you in the end. So, yes, there's not many like opportunities you can take, but be selective and be kind to yourself about it.
And does the same go for HND students now, or
Mm.
would you give us different advice?
I would say that you need to put yourself out there as much as you can because this isn't the kind of industry where like anyone else understands. Like only people in this industry understand what's going on. So there's so many people that like if you want to have a specific goal and you know the kind of people who are going to help you get there, like your like station managers, like your producers, the commissioners or whatever from these big stations, make sure you're following them on any social media, follow whatever they're doing. And as soon as you have like a demo reel that you're happy with, just send it to them. They're probably not going to listen the first time, but just send it to them. And then as soon as you do something better, add that on and then send it back to them. Because in the end, they need people. They can't just keep going with what they have. They need new people. They always need new people. So just be a pain in the ass because someone will care if you're good what they're looking for. You know what I mean? If you're what they need, they're going to listen to you. So just put yourself out there and don't be afraid to let people hear stuff. Just send it to them because they've heard so much worse than what you're going to send them. So it's absolutely fine.
We actually had someone in from like Clyde One and West, like he works for all them, and
Yeah.
he gave us his email, and he was basically in saying that he doesn't like we're all sitting here thinking it's like really hard to get into, and he was basically
Yeah.
like we hardly ever get any emails anymore
Yeah.
because people are too scared to like send their stuff in, so send it in.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where like when I've worked at like stations in Scotland, I've been like the only person in that day. There's a studio that's just empty for a whole day that anyone could come in and be like, "Can I just do a demo with you? Can I just practice something?" It's free. It's like it's totally available. Someone will let you in because it's not taking any money from them. It's not taking any time from them. All they have to do is listen to it. So there are so many chances for you to talk to people and take those opportunities for yourself. So I know for a fact you can get into places. So if you do that, like just ask those people, say, just let me in and I'll try something and just tell me if it's good or not. And they will listen to you at some point because radio needs new people. They can't keep recycling out the same old people.
I'll be name dropping. I'll be saying I've been told I'm getting in here.
You better let me in. I'm told I have to get in, actually.
So, what was the first thing that you done after completing your HND course?
Okay, so the very first thing I did, when did I finish college? It's a great question, actually. 2018, I want to say. So I still had a part-time job. I was working in Cineworld when I left. And it's definitely not the kind of job you jump into straight away. But what I did from there was I kept working, bought up my hours, but I would talk to I lived in Aberdeen. So I would talk to the people from North Sound and I'd be like, hey, can I come in and do some stuff? And eventually they let me do some demos for them. And then the opportunity came up. They're like, oh, our travel presenter for the afternoon isn't in. Can you do travel? So I did that. And then from there, they're like, oh, can you do a week of travel? So I did that. And then, oh, our weekend presenter's not on. Can you do that? And then it kept going from there, where then they asked if I wanted to start writing ads for them in the meantime while they didn't have a job for me. And then when I wrote ads for like 2.5 years, they eventually went, we've got a breakfast show on TFM. You've been with us for so long. Like, we just know you. Do you want to have it? So that's where it went. It just went from there. And that gave me the opportunity to go from working a job that was, I went from just working in Cineworld to just pestering them so much that they're just like, we just need to keep this guy around because he's not going to leave us alone. We'd like just give him a job because he's going to be annoying forever. So that was my route. So it was, I think 2019 was when I started working at North Sound. So it was about a year after I left that I got that job. So don't feel like you need to rush yourself into getting it straight away, because give yourself the time to settle where you are and figure out where you're going to base yourself and then talk to those people that are in your area. That's what I did.
And after all, what are your hopes for the future? Are you going to stay at BBC forever? Are you hoping for bigger and better?
Well, you can never know about the future, and you never plan for the future. You just let what happens. I'd love to keep doing what I'm doing right now because I mean at the moment I've done two. Like as I'm talking right now, I've only done two. I've got one coming up at the end of this week. So it's still very new. It's still very exciting, but I would never say no to an opportunity that felt right to me. If any other station was like, hey, we'll let you in, and it felt better for me, I would absolutely do it. So I always would love to keep working where I am right now. Um, but I'll keep my options open. I always will.
Well, that was all the questions that I had written down, so
Amazing.
thank you.
Cool.